The burned body of 33-year-old professional poker player Susie Zhao was found July 13th in a recreation area about 35 miles from downtown Detroit.
I can't even think how somebody could do that.
Police say Zhao's remains were discovered in a wooded area. She was last seen by her mother the night before at 5:30. Friends say Zhao started playing poker as a teen. She was known on the professional poker circuit as Susie Q. She won $16,000 in one hand in 2017. And according to the World Series of Poker website, she had winnings of over $187,000. Zhao's Twitter profile reads, quote, "I proficiently play high-stakes poker for a living. It's kind of weird because I'm a girl."
She was a free spirit in the truest sense. She played by her own rules. She followed her dreams. Absolutely brilliant.
Detectives say Zhao's death could be related to her travels on the poker circuit.
You have to determine whether or not this is a cover-up or this may be some sort of retaliatory incident because of her profession.
Friends don't think she had any enemies and remember her as kind and gentle.
Everybody loved her. Nobody ever.
Positive.
I can't even remember her fighting with anybody ever.
No
in her life,
conflict.
ever.
No drama.
You know, an interesting life, and that's the way she was described, being full of life. And now she's gone, and really at this point doesn't look like they necessarily have any leads. Let's bring in Julie Grant, find out a little bit more here. FBI now involved in this case?
They sure are, Vinny. Yes. So the FBI, their field office in Michigan, close to White Lake, where the local police department is, they're assisting. They're providing all sorts of technical assistance and any support really needed in this investigation. And who knows, depending on what's uncovered, this could potentially become a federal case. You know this, Vinny. There could be a number of reasons why that may even happen. Maybe someone crossed state lines, maybe a murder for hire plot. Who knows? But it's absolutely devastating, and everyone in that area is working very hard together to get some answers tonight to try to find the person or persons that are involved in this heinous crime, and not only to find her dead, but her body burned. So, I mean, just a beautiful young lady, 33 years old, a whole life ahead of her. And what an exciting life, too, right, Vinny? I mean, she's traveling the country, literally going all around our beautiful country, playing in games, being very successful. You saw that one hand, $16,000 she won in just one hand of poker. So she was very, very good at her job and seemed to enjoy it, really full of life. Vinny, I know that Michigan is where she grew up, so this was sort of a returning home for her. She hadn't been home very long, and then, of course, disappears, and this happens.
You know, sometimes when you're that age, the people who know you best might be your friends, right? The people you hang out with, that you talk to, and these days, obviously, social media as well. Her friends, do they have any theories? Do they think it's related to this gambling life?
That's a good question, Vinny. No, they don't. They actually don't think that it's related to her gambling lifestyle, her chosen profession. And that's something, of course, investigators are looking closely at, because one would think there could be some motivation in here, perhaps for money, for theft. Was there a debt owed? I mean, who knows? There could be all sorts of things investigators are looking at. But the friends who've been speaking out about Susie Zhao's death are saying that no, they don't believe this had anything to do with gambling. Let's take a listen to some of what they had to say.
I never would have thought that anybody would want to do anything to her.
Yeah, so that was just one of her friends, but other friends saying they're just very, very surprised by this, very, very saddened by this. She was just full of life and love and energy. And to everyone's knowledge, this is a woman, Vinny, who just was not someone to make enemies. So they can't imagine that someone would want to harm her. And then in such a vicious way, for her body to be burned, to be found burned and then discarded like trash in this recreation area. It's just so sickening, so upsetting. And right now, investigators are really scrambling tonight to try to find some leads. They're asking anyone in the public who has information about her to please come forward, anything you think you may know. And certainly you can imagine, Vinny, she probably made lots of contacts going throughout the country, playing in these games and traveling all over the place. And like I said, she had really just returned to Michigan, where she grew up.
Yeah, and friends say that she returned, I think it was June 9th, and she was facing some challenges in her personal life. Do we have any idea what those challenges were and whether that might lead to figuring out what happened here?
Right. Another great question. All we really know in terms of challenges that Susie Zhao was dealing with personally were financial challenges, that she really could not afford to live in Los Angeles anymore, which is really easy to understand. We hear all the time about folks going out to pursue, perhaps an acting career, a modeling career, and it's really tough to make it there because the cost of living is just so high. And so the cost of living much lower in Michigan, where she grew up, moved back in with her parents. That's our understanding. And as you mentioned, Vinny, June the 9th was when she came back. And then we're talking, the 13th of July, her body was found. So not much time that she was home, not much time that she had to really settle in until she just seemed to vanish. And now White Lake Police, the FBI, folks in the community who loved her, friends, relatives, they're all trying to come together tonight and get some answers and find out who murdered her so that Susie Zhao's killer or killers can be brought to justice.
Yeah, and I know, of course, we'll be continuing to follow this one here on Court TV. Any new information comes out, of course, you'll hear about it here. Julie Grant, thank you so much.